to episode 4 of Ask the Extru-Technician. I'm Rachel Ulrich. Here today is Will Henry, Director of Research and Development with Extru-Tech. Today's industry needs higher process efficiency, which enhances the bottom line. Will, what are your recommendations to assist clients in the optimization of existing systems?
We would always first recommend looking at the primary expenditures for these processes. So for our case, raw materials, utilities, and ingredient loss management. In any extrusion process, the primary factor or cost expenditure is going to be raw materials. So it's important to start there first. So if we take a 15 ton per hour system, and raw materials are typically 65 to 75% of that costs, and we look at a legacy system and we disregard the loss of ingredients because of off-spec products, then our primary loss is from startups and shutdowns. If we had at our disposal some mechanism that could reduce our startup dwell time, which is typically 10 to 15 minutes, and reduce it even by as little as 25%, that could easily correlate to a savings of approximately $400,000 per year.
So you mentioned utilities. Are we able to see similar savings there?
Yes, we are. Let's look at water first. And we have to look at water from a couple different ways. Any given product has an operating window of about 1.5%, where you can swing that water inclusion rate and still make a good quality product. If we decide to target the bottom end of that water, which is good from the perspective of efficiency at the dryer, then we'll save costs on utilities. However, we also run the risk on that bottom end of producing fines because of poor binding ability in that product kibble. So the challenge is to juxtapose or compare the relationship between reducing the water to save energy at the dryer, but also in making or creating more fines and ingredient loss.
Lastly, you mentioned ingredient loss management. Can you explain briefly what you meant?
Sure. Every extrusion process will incur ingredient loss. The idea is to not truly lose it from outside the process. So this yield loss is how it's typically referred to in the industry. At that point of loss, whether it be from a startup or a shutdown or an off-spec component within the process, typically it's saved, sequestered, and then sold as a low-value ag feed, or worse yet, even disposed. However, if we could take that product loss or ingredient loss and reincorporate it back into the process in a common sense fashion, then we've recompensed that ingredient loss and not sold it off at pennies on the dollar. And I do say common sense in that we've learned over time, reintroducing that loss at a more than 2% inclusion rate will actually lead to further ingredient loss, either in the creation of fines or in product breakage because of lack of durability.
Thank you for joining us today. Make sure to watch for the next episode where we will focus on quality automation advances. If you would like to submit questions to our Extru technicians, please go to our website and click on Ask the Extru Technician.